So today's match is going to be very, very exciting because the fact that one of the teams is going to take their first loss, and both RR and RCB, as for now, seems very, very strategic and very, very on point in their whatever plans they have come up to. So, I mean, this contest would not be just about runs or wickets. This would be quite a battle of intent, much more discipline, and much more strategic execution. I feel that for Rajasthan, the story will begin from Vaibhav Suryavanshi. The kind of fearless power play hitting he has already shown will unsettle some of the best bowlers of the RCB, and quite a few have already been. But that aggression can be tested today because a bowler like Bhuvneshwar Kumar operating with a full length on the stumps, and a very subtle swing can draw him into the early risk. The counter, however, lies in the patience. Suryavanshi will need to and does not need to abandon the aggression, but what he can do is that he can refine it in much better way once he gets settled with. A brief moment of restraint would playing much more straighter and later can turn that same delivery into an opportunity rather than, of course, led by Bhuvi. At the other end, I would see Yashasvi will thrive on what rhythms today will be taken by Suryavanshi, and his strokes play would flow once he gets settled. So, but the discipline of hard length bowling from someone like Jacob Duffy can momentarily disrupt that fluency of Yashasvi, because Yashasvi technically wants to play early on with much more straighter bat, and once he gets settled in, he takes on the bowler. But the fact that he relies Jacob Duffy relies much more on hard length, it is what I feel that Yashasvi has to counter. The answer for Jaiswal, I would feel that it is a balance, and I would say that just stay light on the feet. The more you are light on the feet, trusting the timing of the bat and letting the ball come to him before deciding whether to attack or absorb the pressure. That would be a great thing for Yashasvi Jaiswal today. For Bengaluru, the focal point remains the Virat Kohli for this longer period of time. So even in the strong form, he has occasionally been drawn to mistakes by clever variations, especially from the bowlers like Sandeep Sharma, who rely more on intelligence than the pace. The contest here is very subtle. That Kohli must resist the very urge to dominate every ball. What he can do is he can try rotating the strike and waiting for the predictable lengths, and that is very obvious that he is going to get that predictable lengths where Virat Kohli is master of getting into those converting those into the boundaries, so he can quietly control without forcing the game towards him. Then we should move with the star of the RCB for recent time, David Padikkal. I feel that who has reinvented himself with the remarkable intent this season. The last time I saw him so much effortless shots was I guess in 2020 when he was already playing with RCB and then he went back to RR. So again he came back to RCB. So now he would be having a revamp with the RR. So his aggressive approach has paid off over a period of time, but the extreme pace, especially from someone like Jofra, would can and should trouble him a lot. So yeah, so he can rush in his decision making. So the solution should not to retreat, but technically to adapt the situation. I would say rather playing much more deeper in the crease. He's trying to hit every ball, so he stays too much ahead of the crease. So what can work is try stand deep in the crease, and then you can play deeper. The more deeper you will play, and the more trust you have on your hands and the kind of angles that he uses to hit the shots. The bowler's space would rather become the incentive rather than fighting against that pace. Finally, I feel Riyan Parag has to show up today because he represents Rajasthan's composure in the middle over. So technically, his strength lies in the momentum that has been put over a period of time. So, but that can be slowed by intelligent spin or variations from bowlers like Ravi Bishnoi or Ravindra Jadeja. So I mean the bowlers from, of course, when they will come to bat, of course that can slow down because that will become an incentive. But for Parag, the key is control. You try rotating the strike, reading the bowler early, and choosing the right moment to accelerate rather than forcing to it. So the last time that I've seen Riyan Parag was he was not reading the ball from the hand, and that is very important when you try to hit these bowlers of RCB. So in a sense, the match will not be decided, who will attack more or who will try to dominate the game much more. But I see that it would be more of the strategic decision of what goes above this whole window. Uh, the fact that I feel that this match has to be done in what I would say much more contextual, because you see that the historical trend over here is that it is very mixed because 50% wins the batting first, but chasing has succeeded in some cases as well. So recent RR versus MI, which reduced to a rain, showed the surface can still produce some carnage in the start. So the toss strategy should be very, very should lean to the batting first. You kind of try to defend the target, and then the team winning the toss should back themselves to post 190 and use the slowing pitch variations to strangle the chase over in the second inning. I feel the weather is very clear today. The rain chance drops to 3% by 7 to 11 p.m. of Indian Standard Time. So no interruptions as for now. I feel that perfect batting conditions will be there today. This pitch technically evolves slower as the match goes on, so boundary gets harder to find in the middle overs. So the Darmadar would be on the starting of the starting batsman of both the teams. So death over would be very, very crucial. You can reward yourself with the Yorkers, slower balls and cutters. So that would be a key to get the strangling of that. The strangling can be done in the later part of the innings. So we can trust the bounce. There would be an even pace. Batters can plant the front foot and flay shots fearlessly. I feel that outfield is moderately fast over here. I feel that RR, the likely 12 would be Yashasvi, Vaibhav, Dhruv, Parag, Hetmeyer. I would still bring six. I would still bring at six Donovan Ferreira. At seven, I would like to see Ravindra Jadeja. Eight, Jofra. Nine, Sandeep. Nandre Burger and Tushar Deshpande.